Oh, so beautiful. My lemons are coming in nicely. I got an avocado tree over there. Oh, hey everybody, it's me, Oh, I woke up the dogs. It's me, international celebrity toiletty paper, and I just decided since I have a backyard now, because I just moved, I would be like Sid Croft and do a little video. Those dogs are really loud. Anyway, I'm just loving my time here in the backyard. It's so nice. Oh gosh, oh god, oh jeez, oh jeez, oh no, oh god, I gotta go inside. I gotta get inside.
What happened?
There was a fly. It almost landed on me. Take it away, Sid and Kelly. Oh, that was close. Those flies. Oh boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, the unusual artistry of Sid Croft.
I'm glad it was only a fly. Thank you so much. Wow. Okay, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. You know, there's been so much curiosity about my house, too. Not only Toyley's house, but my house. And I've lived here for, wow, the last 52 years. At the top of a small mountain with many, many famous people's actually land that connects with my 360 hillside. Kelly, let me ask you something.
Uh-oh.
Do I live on a mountain or just a hill?
A molehill.
A molehill? It's pretty steep. You ever walk up the driveway?
It is very steep. You don't even have to walk up the drive. The driveway is the least steep thing here. Everything is very steep.
What does that mean?
You're on a cliff.
Okay, and just to name drop a couple of people, a few of the people that their land connects to mine, you know, Beverly D'Angelo, how about that? And Larry Elder. Larry's running for president right now, and the Rogans. And after all these years, you know, I have 360 up here, and all these years I still don't know who the other people are down below. And when I find out, even if it's in the middle of the night, I'll let you know who it is, because we do have celebrities and people running for president and all kinds of people that live around me. And can you believe I've been here 52 years? And
How long? How long have you been here?
Why?
52 years.
52 years. Why?
I'm just wondering.
Am I exaggerating?
No, you just keep mentioning it, so I just want to make sure everybody knows.
But anyway, okay. Over 10 months ago, I had a great guest on, Lauren Miller Rogen, and with an incredible message that she has for all of us. And I asked Lauren to come back because on June 15th, Lauren and her husband, they're going to New York. And I wish I was going to New York. I guess we're going in October.
That's the plan.
Something like that, yeah. It's been a long time since I've been there. And so, and they're going to New York because they're having a huge event in New York for their passionate charity, Alzheimer's. So, ladies and gentlemen, and there are some kids listening every week, I just found out. Ladies and gentlemen, Lauren Miller Rogen. Wow.
That was like the quickest join ever.
That was unbelievable, because we've been having every week another problem, Lauren.
Well, I was ready to go.
Well, yes, you are. And, you know, we saw each other a couple of weeks ago, and Lauren had two friends from New York, Kyle and Brandon, and we had the best time that day. It was a beautiful day.
I mean,
and
a visit to your house is a treat.
well, thank you so much. And you know what, everybody? We talked about building a cable car. So yeah, between Lauren's house and my house, wouldn't that be cool?
Or at least a funicular, you know, the thing that runs along the track, you know, that they have in like mountain towns. Like just something. We could do something fun. A zip line, maybe, down.
Yeah, but it needs to be colorful because both our lives are so colorful, don't you think?
It's true.
You know what I mean?
It's true.
I don't mean colorful like a clown car or
Yeah.
anything like that,
Just
but
fun.
yeah, the bucket that we ride in, you know, just so Lauren, you got to tell me, you know, you got to tell all of us that something that's so important to you for both of you,
Yeah.
your lives. And, you know, so many people can't remember their stories. And that's, to me, so sad because everybody on the planet has such beautiful, beautiful stories to tell about their lives and
Yeah.
their families and all their journeys. And I'm so grateful, you know, that I can still tell my stories, you know.
Grateful too.
Yeah. And so tell us, Lauren, you got to tell us, because the last show that we had about 10 months ago, it went through the roof. People were so interested
Nice.
in what you had to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Alzheimer's and dementia in general is something that affects millions of people, both with the people who have the diseases and their caregivers. And it's, you know, something that has touched so many people's lives and touched my life. Both of my grandparents on my mom's side had dementia, and then my mom was diagnosed early before her 55th birthday
Wow.
with early onset Alzheimer's. And, you know, and we took care of her for close to 17 years, and she passed away when she was 68. And obviously that made a huge impact on my life. And, you know, I was in my, you know, early to mid 20s when all this began and felt very, you know, lost and scared and didn't know where to turn and felt very alone. And, you know, eventually Seth and I started talking about it and sharing our story with people and eventually did a fundraiser for Alzheimer's, and raise money for the Alzheimer's Association. And through that, I think we realized that we had somewhat of a unique voice in the space, being, you know, at the time still in our 20s, very far from that now. But, you know, and there were so many other young people who reached out to us that, you know, said, I didn't expect, you know, you to be talking about this disease. And I'm, you know, people were clearly looking for a community with young people who were wanting to share their stories and to take action, whether it be, you know, raising money or being advocates. And so that was the inspiration to form Hilarity for Charity, which we formed 11 and a half years ago. And, you know, is, you know, now its own 501c3, and we have raised over $20 million in those years.
Oh
And
my God. Wow. Congratulations.
thank you. And, you know, and we've done, you know, I think a lot of good work with that money. And we, you know, I think I would say we sort of have two sides of things that we help people with. And it is all really all about caring. So it's about caring for caregivers and caring for our brains. And so on one side of it, we care for caregivers, and we have a lot of programming for people who are, you know, going through the caregiving experience, be it workshops and seminars or just, you know, get-togethers for chats, and of course virtual support groups, which we had long before COVID, and then our respite care program, in which people can apply to us, and we provide respite care for people and send a caregiver to someone's home to give them relief, because caregiving can be a 24/7 job, and it's so huge. And so we've given away over 415,000 hours, I think it is, of free at-home care. You know, and we can only afford to fund, I think it's around like 23 or 24% of the applications that we receive. but that's, you know, a good amount, and it's amazing. And then the other side of it is we teach people to care for brains, because there are things that we can do to keep our brains healthy, and so many people don't know that. That's not quite what they're teaching in school quite yet. You know, I know now that potentially, you know, what I know now could have potentially delayed my mom's onset of her disease, you know, and that would have been huge. 5 more years with her, 10 more years with her would have been amazing.
Oh my
And
yeah.
so, you know, we're teaching people how to care for their brains, and what they should be doing to make sure that they're living a brain healthy lifestyle. And we created coursework for high school students and college students. We just acquired, I guess is the right word, an amazing group called the Youth Movement Against Alzheimer's, and it's high school students and college students across the country who you know, want to be advocates for the disease. And we'll really be gearing up in the fall once back to school starts, and really sort of getting that program going. And yeah, and like you said before we went on, I came on, you know, we have events, and actually we changed the event on the 15th, and now it's on the 9th. In New York.
Oh, wow. So are you packed? Are
Yeah,
you all packed?
soon. I mean, no, I'm a last minute packer, but yeah, it's on Friday the 9th. And if anyone that is watching is interested, you can just email info@hilarityforcharity.org, and we'll send you all the info. It's going to be a dinner with really smart brain health people. You can ask all your questions. Richard Blaze, who is an amazing chef, he's a top chef. He's cooking the brain healthy meal, and we'll be doing a fun demo, and it'll be a really fun night. So
well,
you can
nutrition has so much, you know, I don't know why there are so many people out there that ignore, you know, the fuel that we put into our body, and it's so important. Well, I think it's why I've lived so long, because I'm just so constantly aware of what I put in my body, you know?
Yeah.
And I've always been that way, because I was watching all my friends, you know, catching colds and getting headaches, and, you know, and life has been so incredible, and it is for every single one of us.
Yeah.
That, you know, just to wake up every single day, that you want to enjoy every moment. If it's sunny or cloudy, or, you know, there's a rainstorm, it's all such beauty out there that we have to appreciate, you know, every single moment.
Yeah.
And so, you know, there's been so many legends out there. It doesn't spare anybody's life. It's a hideous disease. And let me ask you something. I heard something. They're close to something, aren't they, right now?
Well, you know, I think that there are, in the last, you know, 2-3 years, there have been a handful of medications. And I should say, you know, I'm not a scientist. Like, my main focus is advocacy. But there have been a handful of medications that have funny names that, you know, may have done, you know, indicated that they could potentially slow things down a little bit. And that would be huge. I think that there is nothing that is really set in stone. I think that there's a lot of movement and energy, and, you know, a lot of stuff that 10 years ago wasn't happening. And I think that, you know, a lot of the smart people that I talk to really will say, like, they think in the next 5 or 10 years this will be a very different disease. And I think that, you know, and I think that, and even honestly 5 to 10 years ago to today, it's a very different disease. So I'm filled with so much hope in that area, where, as trust me, 10 years ago I had none. And now I think that, yeah, and I think that, you know, I think what I've heard from a lot of scientists is, you know, it's unlikely that there's going to be one medication that treats dementia, that treats Alzheimer's. You know what I mean? Because it's such a great term, and it'll probably be more of a cocktail of things. You know, my mom, when my mom passed away, we donated her brain, and my mom had Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and Lewy body dementia in her brain. And so, you know, so one medication wouldn't have treated her. And so I think that, you know, the fact that they're looking at it from all these different directions, as they weren't 10 years ago, 20 years ago when she was diagnosed, I think is huge and speaks to the progress. And again, like I said, hope, whereas like I had no hope like 15 years ago, and now I have a lot of hope. And I think, and honestly, part of it is with brain health and the fact that, you know, perhaps we can prevent cases. They're pretty sure we can at least delay things. And that's kind of amazing. And you can lead a brain healthy lifestyle. And, you know, we at HFC have what we call our 5 factors of brain health. So it's getting good sleep, number 1, which I know you do in your amazing bedroom.
Thank you.
Sleep, nutrition, fitness, obviously exercise, so important. Mental stimulation and emotional well-being. And so, you know, these are things that someone like you who's lived such a long time, you can look at your life and see how you've kept mentally stimulated. You've walked around your property, you know what I mean? You live a life that is active and full, and that is so important. And I
You
think
know, I
that,
run, not run. I am a runner, or I was, and I ran.
He is in his head. He's
No,
running.
no, and I ran away from someone. I don't know who it is. Kelly. It might be you, Kelly. Yeah. You know, but I ran 9 miles almost every single day.
but there you go. And like, you know, it just speaks to
Mm-hmm.
having an active lifestyle is so important. You know, my mom and my uncle were very genetically similar. There are certain genes that you know, indicate your level of risk for dementia or anything there. Obviously, if you keep
So many
yeah.
diseases, yeah.
And my mom and my uncle were quite similar, and in their risk genes for Alzheimer's, they both had 2 copies of what's called the APOE4 gene. And my mom had a hysterectomy when she was 47 years old in
Wow.
1997.
Yeah.
And the hypothesis is that
That,
what happened to her wouldn't happen today with the type of hormones she'd be
of
given,
course.
with understanding what her genetic risk was, and the change that happened from that hysterectomy, in addition to the specific hormones that she was given, not hormones in general, caused her onset to be early. Whereas my uncle, who was an avid bike rider, rode his bike miles and miles every day, owned a business, was an active member of his community, his onset happened when he was 66, 67 years old. And so, you know, that alone shows
That's
us.
so young. That's so
So
young.
young, of
Because
course.
here
Yeah.
I am in a couple of weeks, 94, and I go, wow, to be 60, to
I
be
know.
70, to
Right.
be 80, you know,
Yeah.
and then to make it to 90, it's a miracle. But, you know, I got to tell you something. Once again, everybody out there, think before what you go to eat at McDonald's or wherever, you know, because just to fill the cavity is not, you know, when I go out of town, if I can't find what I need, I go without.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah.
So, you know, I might lose a pound or 2,
Right.
but I don't ever break, you know, break down. I just can't do that because once again, you know, you want to feel good. I'm not perfect. I got a lot of crazy things, health problems, you know, out there, but every time I go to a doctor, they always look up. I don't know why they look up, and they say, it's a miracle. Why are they looking up? Because it's a beautiful day, I guess. You know, but talking about legends, you know, I have touched so many lives in the business that I'm in, you know, and I met the Reagans before, when he was just a movie star.
Just a movie star.
They were really close friends of Tony Martin and Sid Charisse, best friends. And, you know, and I had dinner with them many times. And, you know, I mean, wow, what happened
Yeah.
to that brilliant mind, you know? And we had a show called DC Follies, and he was like, it was life-size puppets.
Oh,
and
wow.
it took place in Washington D.C. In a bar next to the White House, and you know, and because I did know him, we never, you know, made fun of him or stuck a sword in that character, but just, you know, it was very light, and just like comedians, you know, making fun of him when he was our president.
Yeah.
And the last day that he was in office, he called. There was a call that came through to our office, and it said, "The White House, Ronald Reagan's on the phone." And we looked at each other and said, "It's totally impossible. It's got to be, you know, a prank or whatever you call it. You know, one of the voice people that do Reagan, you know, and it was his last day, and it was him. And he got on the phone, and he said, do you know your show was watched by the White House every Friday night? We loved it." And, you know, and I said, wow,
That's
you know, I hope we didn't offend you in any way, because, you know, he kept the comedians would make fun of him because he kept forgetting things,
right.
and, you know,
Right.
and well, that goes with old age, you know, even though, you know, I'm this old, I can't remember people's names,
Yeah.
but I'll remember them forever. But
Yeah.
I've met so many people in my life that, you know, how could you remember
I
all
don't know.
those names?
I couldn't even imagine. I don't know.
I love the Queen. You know, she has that woman behind her, you know, the lady in waiting. No,
Yeah.
and she tells her everybody, you know, and what to say,
Right.
because how can she remember those thousands of people that she met in her, you know, journey?
Yeah.
But, you know, talk about Glenn Campbell. I mean, just these brilliant, brilliant people that have given us so much, you know, in our lives. And Richard Pryor, we did the Richard Pryor show.
Yeah.
And so I worked with
I mean, he
him.
was amazing.
You know, we did a whole series with it, and he was a trip. And I think behind me, that statue, he gave me that for Christmas.
Huh?
No, on the wood statue behind me, Kelly.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's because
Isn't it
it's
there?
over here. Yes, it's over in this corner.
Can you see it? Yeah.
I see your image.
It's over there.
Oh, that
Did you see him? Yeah. And it came from a tribe, and, you know, it scared the hell out of me when he gave it to me. I kept it outside for a little time, because who knows, you know, where it came from and what the energy was all about. Kelly, take that off and show the whole thing. Can you?
You
No?
want me to go over there?
Oh my God. Okay, whatever. You know,
He's sending me on an adventure.
on an adventure. You know, Robin Williams. I mean, the
Yeah.
most brilliant mind, you know, in show business.
Oh,
Look
yeah.
at this. Look at this.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'd be afraid to bring that in for a little
Yeah,
bit.
no. It scared the hell out of me.
Yeah.
You know, but he gave me that for Christmas. Isn't
What
that
do
a
you say-
trip?
What do you say when someone gives that to you? Are you
Thank
like,
you.
thank you?
What do you say? No, I didn't know what to do.
Guess
Yeah.
what Lauren's getting for Christmas?
I'm just going to toss it down the hill. Eventually it'll roll. It'll get there.
No, no, I would never do that. I love you too much. I would never do that. Send bad vibe. Tony Bennett. You know, wow. Tony Bennett. You know, why? Why?
Oh, I have a question for you,
Yeah.
Lauren. I have a couple questions. People were actually sending things in. So,
A lot of questions.
as somebody who has suffered, and I will consider it mildly still suffers from what my doctors call caregiver burnout. It's funny, but it's not funny.
No, it's very common.
I,
Am
I
I
was-
one of those people?
that causes it probably, but I love you.
Thank you.
The question was, when your charity, if somebody, how do they come in and basically, I guess, try to qualify for what you provide?
How do they get help?
Yes.
Well, the first thing you can do is go to our website, I would say, which is wearehfc.org. And there is a lot of information on the site that really details the type of support that we give, be it the support groups or programs that are upcoming or the grant program. And so from there, you can apply for what type of support you're looking for. And, you know, we have people that, you know, are putting support groups together with people in common, and you can get on the list to hear about stuff, or you can, like I said, apply specifically for a program. So really, I think the best thing to do is go on the website and you can get in touch that way.
And then when you have somebody who is a 24/7 caregiver and they're looking for maybe a reprieve.
Yeah.
What does that look like on your end? Is this a weekend? Is this what does that look like? What is it that you guys do?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, the grants we have two types of grants. So when someone is applying for the first time, they apply for the respite grant that is 25 hours that can be used over a 3-month period. Is that right? Yes. And then the or is it 50 hours? No, I'm sorry. It's 25 hours. It can be used over a 3-month period. And then after that, if you get that grant, you are able to apply for the long-term grant, which is 25 hours a week for 6 months. And that's obviously a pretty substantial grant. And so, yeah, the purpose is obviously it's important to really get to know people. So we have the first one is sort of like a getting to know you type grant, and then from there we can kind of, you know, you can reapply and build from there.
So what is it that from your side as a charity, what is it donation wise that you hope for, you know, in order to give that to somebody? Like
it comes out to be about $25 equals about an hour of care.
Wow.
And so so you know, obviously every donation counts and you know, adds toward a whole that can help people in so many different ways. But yeah, we really break it down to $25 is 1 hour of care. And so if you want to gift someone an hour of care, give us $25 and we will put it to good use.
That's amazing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And then you guys are having your thing on June 9th.
Yeah, we have our dinner. We constantly have programming happening, whether it's, you know, a brain health dinner, which is a lovely elevated event, or a larger event, which we're still figuring out. We had our big birthday event this past October in LA, which was our 10-year birthday. And it was, you know, a big, huge event downtown, and it was so fun. We'll probably do another event probably in the spring of 2024 in LA, I think we're thinking. And, you know, we have little things throughout. And I think, you know, following us on social media is the best way to keep an eye on those things and keep in touch. And we're always announcing, like I said, we have a lot of programming for caregivers. So there's a lot of that talked about on there as well. And yeah.
And everybody listening out there, it affects every single one of us, you know, it really does, in our families, and, you know, and who knows, we just don't know as we get older, you know, and so I'm so happy that we're talking to everybody out there and letting them know more about it, because there's so many families that keep it a secret too.
Oh yeah.
They just don't want to expose their families and out to the world that someone, you know, in their family has this terrible disease.
Yeah.
And
well, and I've seen it just with the people too, you know, where I notice changes within some of the people who are very close to me. And when I've explained to them, you know, I noticed those changes. In the beginning, it was anger that came from them. And then more recently than not, I'll say maybe 8 months ago, you know, somebody came to me and said, you know, I'm having issues remembering things. Do you think I should see a doctor? And my first response was, if you're asking me, the answer is yes.
Right. That's yes. Yeah.
Immediately. That's something that, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
whatever disease, whatever.
Yeah, it's, I think that doctors have not traditionally been taught to give what, we sort of call a checkup from the neck up. And that's not really part of a general health, scan. And the older you get, they may ask a few questions here and there, but they're not really trained certainly in prevention and brain health and teaching people how to live a brain healthy lifestyle. But often doctors, unfortunately, are not quite trained in how to properly diagnose and then navigate someone through that diagnosis and their family through that diagnosis, and what that's going to be. And that's part of what makes the burden so difficult, is people don't know where to turn or how to, navigate through the situation. What type of doctor do you see? How do I handle this? Where do I get care? How do I get support? And it's a dizzying experience. We're actually going to release sometime hopefully in the next 2 to 3 months, I think it is, a caregiver guide that's sort of like a step-by-step that goes from, my loved one is showing signs of memory loss. Where do I go from here? Because that's some of the hardest stuff to really know how to get through. And it's such a surreal, devastating moment when your loved one is changing in front of you and they aren't who they were your whole life. And, it's really tough.
You can slow it down, possibly.
Yeah. What are some of the ways of slowing it down?
Yeah. So like I mentioned, we had these five brain healthy habits. So sleep is so key. Really, you should be sleeping. It's so important. And you should track your sleep. There's so many sleep trackers out there, be it, something you wear, or like I have a cooling pad for my bed that also tracks my sleep and cools me down because I sweat a lot. So sleep is number one. They say sleep is when your brain takes out the trash, but your memories are consolidated. It is the most important thing that you can do for your brain, and it's free. Invest in a good pillow, invest in a good mattress. Like, these are things that are important. I know we spend a lot of money on our cars, but you spend even more time in your bed. And you should invest in your sleep lifestyle. And then, of course, there's nutrition, which, we talked about and you know so much of. And, I think that, it's like, I so admire what you do, and I don't know if I could do it. You know what I mean? I have to have little cheats every now and then. But I think that if you're eating a brain healthy lifestyle more often than not, as a smart nutritionist that I work with told me, then you're going to be heading in a good direction. And, and that means, of course, limiting sugar, not having a lot of alcohol. I don't drink a lot at all. Limiting, things that have a lot of process to them, things that, what's good for your heart is good for your brain when it comes to nutrition.
And you think because you go to a real expensive restaurant, the nutrition will not be there because they start making that in the morning. And that's why I go to farmers market, or I try to grow some of my stuff, but I know all the farmers. I go every Sunday at 7:30 in the morning.
I love it.
Lauren, you got to get up and go with me. You'll have a blast.
One of these days I will.
No, you got to. You just take the cable car up to my house, and you don't have to drive,
God, how fun would that be? Yeah.
And no, and the farmers, excuse me, they pick everything for me. Today, yesterday.
Yeah.
So,
I love that.
And today I got, oh my God, peaches. But, things are beginning to come out right now.
I bet you're drinking the best juice ever right now.
How about that?
That's amazing. So nutrition is so important, and then exercise is really important. Having muscle is really good for your brain. Doing zone 2 cardio, which is walking, is really good for your metabolic health. Very important. And my exercise regimen is I do a combination of zone 2, meaning I go on an elliptical for like a long, slow time. I also do Orange Theory, which is a HIIT workout, which is when your heart rate is going up and down.
Up and down,
That's really good for your brain. And then I do weights with a trainer where I build muscle. And then I also row and in intervals also. And so, you know, it's really important. And women especially, you know, women are more likely to have dementia, and that is not because they live longer, I say in quotes. A lot of that has to do with our hormones, and as we age, it's really important. As you know, as I explained from my mom's story, you know, what we know now could have potentially delayed her onset. I don't know if it would have prevented it, but it probably would have delayed it. And so, you know, it's really important that we keep ourselves physically fit as we age, because muscle is very important. And then there, yeah.
No, go ahead.
Oh yeah. So then I was gonna say, and then there's mental fitness, which is learning new things, being social, being engaged, you know, not just sitting and watching dumb reality television, and, you know, which I do sometimes and have done in the last month because I've been sad, but which actually leads to the next thing, which is your emotional well-being, which is, you know, taking care of your emotional health, you know, whether it be a daily meditation practice or, you know, anything that allows you to take a breath and stabilize. Depression is not good for your brain. You know,
No,
it is
it's not good for
to,
anybody's brain.
no. And so, you know, making sure that you're on top of that is really important. So yeah, so those 5 things really contribute to leading a brain healthy lifestyle.
Lauren, I love, just absolutely love that we met, and you're such a beautiful person, and I've always loved seeing you. But I don't want to. I mean, we're on a very, very important journey.
I have one more question, and then you can.
About.
I have one more question about what she was talking about.
Yeah.
Only because there's a lot of discussion, at least in the loopholes that I've got stuck in, with lion's mane mushroom. Have you heard about this?
No.
Okay.
I don't. No.
Lion's mane mushroom, I guess they're showing that it helps with the beginnings of dementia, and it's like I don't know. I fall down the rabbit hole of Sid's, you know, healthy living and trying to do things holistically and naturally, because I came from a holistic medical family, you know, trying not to take meds as much as possible. But yeah, I don't know. I just didn't know if you had heard of this because it's interesting.
Yeah, I have not, but we have a woman, her name is Annie Fenn. You can find her on Instagram here. And she's a nutritionist, and she has a brain healthy cookbook, and she's constantly sharing brain healthy recipes. What is her cookbook? If you go to Hilarity's site, you'll see it. Yeah, she's amazing, and she would probably know the answer to that question if you messaged her. I'm sure she could answer it. But yeah.
Lauren, I don't want to switch gears, but you know, when I announced that you were coming on, people send me all kinds of messages, and they're very curious with all, you know, all my guests that come on want to know more about them. And Lauren, the big question that I've been asked many, many times is about your career.
Yeah.
I want everybody to know that Lauren is not only an actress, a film director, a producer, you know, a screenwriter, and it goes on and
all
on.
around awesome person.
Oh, God.
And the greatest. Oh my God! 2 weeks ago, that was so much fun.
I know.
We spent many hours. I mean, we were here. Yeah, I had to almost throw them out.
Yeah. You have to. No, I would listen to your stories for hours and hours.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. So, you know, super bad. I mean, I come tell us just a little bit. You know, about you
and my work. I mean, you know, it's an odd time with work because of the writer's strike, and so that's feeling a little.
It's very bizarre.
Sad, strange, etc. I don't know how you want to describe it, but yeah, no, work. I had really, you know, I have a production company with my longtime partner, who was also my manager. We produced For a Good Time Call together, you know, 11 years ago at this point. Yeah, 12 years, whatever. 11 years ago, and And we have a bunch of projects, and we've actually just officially as of last week, production started because money started flowing. Production on an animated film that we've been working on for like 7 years, developing based on a graphic novel called Tangles, and it's about a young woman caring for her mom with Alzheimer's. And we have an amazing director and animation company that are doing it. And so officially the work has begun, and that's exciting. And it'll be done in, probably 2.5 years because it's an animated movie and they take a long time.
Takes forever.
But other than that, I do the thing where I write things and I develop things with other writers, and I have a couple shows that I'm working on and a couple features that I'm working on, some that I've written and some that other people have written that I've developed as a director. And I do the thing where I'm just looking to get things made and meeting with people. And, right now that's not happening because of the strike, and hopefully that'll end soon and we can get back to it.
No, it's pretty scary, I mean, the writers do deserve a little more attention, but I mean, to halt the business that way, it puts so many people out into the streets, it's like, how do you pay your bills? But you're also an incredible actress.
Oh, thanks.
Because you were, because you've been in many guest appearances in Grey's Anatomy for one.
I did a Grey's Anatomy. Yeah, that was, I auditioned for that show like 6 or 7 times. You know what I mean? So it was exciting to do that. No, I love acting, and I've always loved it. I'm not really acting anymore because it's so hard, and it's such a tough side of the business, and I felt like I was struggling in all the areas, and I wanted to just pick 1 or 2 to struggle in, writing and directing, instead of including a third. But and auditioning was really hard for me, to be honest. Like, I was never a great auditioner, and it really was tough. And when I could do it, when I could get on set, it was great and amazing. And I feel like, I did a number of fun projects, like you said, and maybe one day, but not right now.
Lauren, what's really important, I mean, getting to act makes you understand, wanting to be a director or a producer or a writer. I mean, it's crazy. I was 15 years old. I traveled with the Ringling Brothers Circus, and it was frightening. It was real dark. And who would think when I was 15 years old that one day we would make a movie about it?
Right.
Or it would give me so much knowledge in using that experience.
Right.
So everything that we do, we question things. And I have many times, because I've done so many things in my career, just like you have. You start naming all those things,
I know.
but one connects with the other, and without us even realizing that is going on, but that experience that we have, being on stage, being in front of a camera, working for. Did Debbie Allen direct for you, right?
She didn't direct, but she was there. She was the supervising director, so she wasn't the director, but she was there the whole time. Yeah, she was there, and I remember.
I love her.
Yeah, I remember there was one of the scenes I did. I had to cry a lot, and so when we were rehearsing it, my obviously was not crying in the rehearsal or whatever, and like it was supposed to end with me just like bawling, and I remember because again we were just like reading through it or whatever, and instead of crying, I made like a joke, and she gave me a look that I'll never forget. Never do that again. Never make a joke.
Really? No, Debbie, I'm working on a couple of projects with her, but a really big one right now. And her knowledge of
oh my God,
theater, of a performer,
what
and just working with her, just talking to her, she understands every single, corner of everything.
Absolutely.
Because, and have you been to the school, at the academy, dance school, oh my
No.
God, that she built.
Oh, that's yeah.
Oh, it's just unbelievable.
You
There's
go take dance
nothing.
classes there?
Mm-hmm. Mm.
It's what,
I think Sid needs to take some dance classes
that's
there.
Yeah.
no. You know what? I walk 2 miles every day
Yeah.
now, and
Yeah.
and I try to go downhill so I can walk quickly, just to be able at my age to even walk.
It's amazing.
And I don't, and I'm by myself. I
Yeah.
don't go with anyone because
Yeah.
that's where I do my
Yeah.
work, you know, and that's where I create. In running, most of my shows, just running 9 miles.
Yeah.
When you hit that second mile, oh my God, you know, oh, you can create the world. Yeah.
I love that. I never knew that. I didn't know that that's how you did your work. That's cool.
No, yeah. Most of the shows, you know, and the puppet shows, just working out problems, and you
Yeah.
hit all these brick walls. You know, as a writer, you know, you think you got this greatest idea, and then, you know, and then you rethink it, and you go, now wait a minute, I
Right.
just bumped into a brick wall. How do I solve that?
Yeah.
I got to get on the other side of that
Yeah.
wall. You know?
Yeah. Yes, I hit many walls all the time.
I heard that about you. Hey, Lauren, thank you so much, and
Always a pleasure.
and have a safe trip to New York.
And what is your website again? Where can everybody?
No, keep saying it over and over
We
again.
are hfc.org. Or on here, just on Instagram, you can go to our Instagram, which is We Are HFC. It's not hard to find. We're out there. HFC, Hilarity for Charity. You'll find it.
And so, Lauren, when you get back, you know, the June gloom will be gone.
I hope so.
Oh, everybody out there, you should see where Lauren lives.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's a piece of property that I looked at before this. Yeah, and
Pretty
so we have so much in common. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 It's Hawaii. It's the most beautiful piece of property in all of California.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well,
you
thanks for
are
having me.
beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank
and
you.
When you go,
Oh yeah, who is the woman with the cookbook?
Oh, Annie Fenn.
how do you spell that?
Let me look. Hold on. Annie Fenn, Fenn.
Awesome.
And she has a brain health cookbook, and she's on Instagram and always sharing things, and she's super
And
cool.
$25 donation gives an hour
of care.
Oh, that's amazing.
Everybody out there,
Yeah.
And you know what? When this show is over, and reach out to everybody, because we post it. Reach out to everybody to watch it. This was so important for every single one of us, you know. And I thank you so much, Lauren.
Well, thank you, Sid.
And when you get back to our beautiful, you know, when you get back, I'll have it half built, the cable car.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And I'll go with the other half.
Okay, and then you'll take care of the other half.
All right.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Love
Bye.
you. Bye. Okay, guess what, everybody? Wasn't that cool? Wasn't that incredible? Next week, oh my God, Rachel True.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
Well, tell us.
I'm very excited.
Why are you excited?
Rachel True
Who
is okay.
Ray is a fan.
She was like on everything from the 90s. And for me, I love her. I loved her.
And she watches our show, doesn't
yes.
she? Yeah.
I just adore
Rachel,
her.
I hope
and
you're watching.
I might have to take your show away from you next week. I'm excited for this one.
Rachel, I can't wait for next week. And I can't wait for all of you to tune in next week and the week after and the week after that. We've got some some great
We need
people
we
coming.
need an ending song like Mr. Rogers did at the end of
But
his shows.
you know what I want you to, we got a few minutes. I want you to explain something.
Okay.
Okay, every week, just for me, I
Okay.
still don't understand it.
Oh, great.
Every week we do an hour show,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And then we post the whole hour. How does that, then we post just 15 minutes.
We post the whole
Okay,
hour on
explain
YouTube.
that to her.
Okay. Because what Instagram started doing was when we would post your whole show,
Yeah.
the whole hour, it started taking up too much data from where it was being kept, which is why we were losing shows. Things have been deleted. Instagram also had an Instagram TV thing where they were putting all of this data and then they dumped that, so we
And
lost
they
a bunch of
dumped
our
some
show.
of our shows.
Yes. So
I mean, we lost Charo,
yes.
we lost a
So we
lot of...
started posting those on YouTube because YouTube is designed for videos. So they have a lot of space. So that's YouTube. And we do not, it's free. So we don't have advertising or anything like that in the hour show. So you can watch the hour show there. We reduced down our clip size. So we do edit it down to a 15-minute or less for Instagram now to post that because...
But Kelly, it takes you 3-4 hours.
Because I have to edit.
I know it.
YouTube is automatic.
And that it's throwing everybody's rhythm off.
It's not. YouTube is automatic. And then on Instagram, it's a 15-minute thing because it also alters your algorithm. So you are able to actually be seen as a reel, which most people who are very familiar with Instagram know that reels you will see even in like your normal queue, and it'll be seen by a lot of other people versus when we post an hour show, it's only seen by your
Okay, and I'm going to tell you one
followers.
Great thing about the 15 minutes. We've been doing 7, 8, 9, 10,000.
And that's why.
10,
is because
000.
You're not getting seen by just your followers anymore. You're getting seen by everybody. You're now in a completely different loop. You're in a different Twilight Zone, Sid.
Haven't I always been?
Yes.
I mean,
you're in the left side of the Twilight Zone.
Go left. Yeah. Okay, everybody. I'm going to see you next week. I don't know what the hell Kelly just said.
You're welcome.
If you guys can figure it out.
Time.
I love that you
No
tune
idea
me
what she
in
said.
every week. And thank you so much. It's been so much fun.
We are hfc.org if you want to go and donate for Hilarity for Charity.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. That was such a good show. Thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you next week. Rachel True. See you too. Okay.
Bye.
Bye. To be continued.